Welcome to the Fashion is Cool podcast, where we explore fashion's business side and the entrepreneurs behind it. Hosted by Dwight Carter, your guide to diverse careers and inspiring stories in fashion.
Welcome to the Fashion is Cool podcast, where we discuss the multi-careers in fashion through the minds of our guests. Today's guest is multifaceted artist whose creativity spans many mediums, including rapping, songwriting, painting, and design. We have Brock Seals today. How are you doing today, Brock?
Feeling good, Dwight. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have this conversation. So can you kind of get started? Give us a little bit about yourself, like how you got into this. Boy, I mean, you do a lot. So just kind of give us a short background of how you got into the art world and, all that stuff. So
I can give you a condensed version. I mean, all my life I've been creative. I started with music. That was my first passion, and that's something that's just stuck with me throughout my whole life. I didn't really get into physically doing art myself until college. But before that, I definitely had artistic ideas. I knew I loved fashion, always wanted to make my own type of clothing some way, somehow. But yeah, it wasn't until college that I actually learned how to paint and draw and illustrate my own ideas. So once I did that, it just kind of made everything else that I do make sense and make it easier for me to create. So now we're here today, and I'm doing art, doing music, design, and everything that's just art at this point.
So you just explained that you do, you kind of cross different mediums of rap and songwriting, painting, design. How do you balance the creative energies between all of that?
I think it works well because sometimes I say I got a short attention span and I get bored with things easily. So with having those multiple, outlets, I can easily, if I'm getting tired of this, I just hop into some music, or if I'm feeling overwhelmed with that, I hop into another bag. So I'm just forever going into different bags, and they're helping explore and inspire each other, honestly.
So what's a day like for you? You get up and what happens?
I get up.
Do you make a to-do list or schedule, or do you kind of
Yeah.
whatever that day happens is how you feel? How does that work?
I mean, for the most part, I'm creating something. Now, on my to-do list is different things that I have to create, whether it's a commission, whether it's a personal project, whether it's sending off this email, that's what's on my to-do list. But
yeah,
I mean, from majority of the day, I'm painting, that's Monday through Friday.
So you worked some of the biggest names in the industry, like Erykah Badu, Nipsey Hussle. How have these experiences influenced your art and creative processes?
I mean, it just broadened my horizon to meet some of my idols and have them express gratitude towards what I do is just fulfilling. It's unreal at times, but those are the type of things that help inspire me to keep me going.
It's awesome. Talk about the murals you have around the city.
Oh man, doing the murals was something I never thought I would necessarily get into because, of the scale. At a point in time, after I was mainly just painting on canvases, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do large scale pieces. So, after, getting practice with painting smaller walls and that eventually leading into bigger murals, it's still surreal to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, the recent mural that I did, one of the recent murals I did, the Little Palette Big Dreams mural, which is on 14th and between Locust and Washington, it was the first time that I used like a crane lift. So, up until that point, I had just stayed on my own 2 feet and, painted walls and maybe did a little ladder work here and there, but that took me up a whole nother notch. So, I'm able to scale larger buildings, but not only being able to paint bigger, but to have a bigger statement and to have work that's visible to everybody. This not something that's just inside a museum or exclusive to this event. I feel like this is one of the better ways that I can communicate my art and my message with the whole entire city.
Right. That's great. So, yeah, I'm impressed by how I've been down the paint Lewis many times over the years, and to watch how you as an artist can paint something that big without and straight lines and like circle. It's impressive to me how that works, because I mean I can barely, I mean I can sketch if it's right in front of me, but
Right.
you're on like you said, a crane, and like you're inches away from the
From
the
the wall.
wall. Like that's how do you get to that level from sketching on a sketch pad to like a full on mural?
I mean, it just takes practice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, like I say, I never thought I would be in this position, but the years that I spent of painting every day led me to this, and being able to attack walls this big. People always say like, what happens if you mess up? And I feel like I birthed a style that was like built off imperfection. So it's like impossible for me to mess up. Everything is fixable. Everything is intentional. These marks that I make, they're perfectly imperfect. So
Yeah.
when it comes to a mural, it's just another canvas. I treat it the same. I attack it the same. I plan things out the same way I would do a small 8x8 canvas.
That's I like your imperfection statement, because I think a lot of artists and a lot of people in general will try to be as perfect as they can, and you can't.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't.
unnecessary pressure. Like
Yeah.
don't put that pressure up on yourself. And I learned that early on, that could hurt me down the line if I'm trying to be perfect, or I accept who I am and how my work looks, and I know that, hey, I'm gonna rock with this style. I'm gonna rock with what I'm doing, because
Right.
you might be comparing yourself to somebody else's art, and you'll never be able to do what they do. So make it easy on yourself and be the best version of you.
Right. That's perfect. That's perfect. Your art aims to create change and offer hope. Can you speak on a specific piece or project that you feel has made the most impact in this regard?
Mm. Well, one piece that I just did recently, I painted a basketball court in Loretta Hall Park, which is in the Car Square Village neighborhood. And the court that I painted is yellow, red, black, and green. And there are two figures, black silhouettes of black people, right in the center of the court. And with that design, I wanted the design to reflect the community that it's in right now. Carter Village is a historical neighborhood, and part of my family grew up in that neighborhood. And as neighborhoods change, and people get moved out, X, Y, and Z, what do we have? What history do we have? A lot of our history has been erased. So I feel that within my art, it's 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 important for me to preserve the history, and to be able to tell my people's story. So being able to put that message within that basketball court, so when we are passed away and we long gone, that court will still be there, and those colors and motifs will represent people who, what I'm saying, been on that land.
Right. That's great. Do you remember your first piece that you ever made?
Um, Man, I remember one of the first pieces that I painted. I remember that time period better yet, because I was in school, so I was doing, homework projects that were painting, and then I was doing some personal things like later down the line. But I do remember that time.
When you say school, do you mean like middle school or high school? Like when was your I'm asking, like, what was your first like drawing or when you kind of just like, okay, this is what I want to do?
Okay, so one of my very first pieces that I remember was like as a kid. I don't know if it had to be elementary school, but it was a piece that I drew inside of my notebook. You used to have a little composition joints. So I
Yeah.
had this piece called Chaos, and it was just a full scale page just covered. It was like different little doodles and line work. And that was like one of the first pieces I was proud of because I never could like draw really good or to myself. I felt like I
Yeah.
wasn't the kid that knew how to draw. So when I did that piece, that was something that I was proud of. But look at it in my notebook during class and all that. But I don't even know why I named it Chaos. Maybe because there was so much going on. It was like a chaos going. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was like one of my first pieces.
That's cool. That's cool. Do you still have it?
No, I don't
No.
know what a notebook that's long gone, but I got a mental image in my head, and maybe I'll try to like recreate that at one point.
Yeah. That would be cool to see how you evolved from back then
Yeah,
to now, doing the
yeah,
same
I like
exact
what I did. Yeah,
beats. Yeah. All right. You have to give me a shout out if you do it.
yeah, for sure. Right on, Dwight.
So you do a lot of collaborations, whether
Yeah.
it's with artists, major brands like St. Louis Cardinals. How do you approach these collaborations, and what do you think about what makes a great partnership for you?
Uh, it's got to make sense. You know what I'm saying? The brand's got to align. I love working with organizations, but I love working with people at the end of the day. So if I'm working with some good people who understand my vision and understand that creative freedom, is important.
Mhm.
It's one thing to compromise your vision, but when you have creative freedom to be yourself, the product speaks to that. The people
Mhm.
understand. People can tell if this is something forced, and when it's something that's genuine.
Yeah. Are you collaborating with anyone currently right now?
Still
You can talk
collaborating.
about.
Still collaborating with the Cardinals
Okay.
for Black Heritage Day. We're gonna do that again next year. I do have some very special collaborations coming up, but I can't speak on them just yet.
Okay.
But
That's
this
fine.
will be like this will be the bomb drop that day. Something is coming for sure. It's coming.
All right, so you have been recognized. Obviously, we're talking about the murals and your artwork, but your influence in you know, you're in the fashion space. How do you see the intersection of visual art and fashion in today's world?
I feel like a lot of
How about it? How about in St. Louis in general? Like, how do you feel?
uh, yeah, I feel like art inspires fashion in so many ways, whether it's color choice, whether it's motifs that are used in pattern making. Personally, I feel like they just synonymous, because me being
Mhm.
an artist, I paint directly on the clothing, or the way my brain works, I just see clothing from an art perspective. So I see things and I'm like, man, that would be a good shirt, or that would be a good dress, or I think we should cut this X, Y, and Z. I always take things that are ready made and just have my spin on how I think that should be made.
Okay, when did you start in the fashion world?
I would say high school. I had a clothing line with me and two of my other homies.
Mhm.
It was called Hello Tomorrow. So we
Okay.
would we would create our own designs. It was like a lifestyle streetwear brand. So we would get our shirt screen printed and we would go crazy on the marketing, like Facebook, in person. We driving around different parts of the city and county, pulling up to high schools and just, selling these shirts to our
Yeah.
parents. And it was booming for, the years that we did it. We definitely made a name for ourselves and was able to get clothing to like different celebrities that would come to town. So it was fun. It was fun.
That's cool. That's old school guerrilla marketing there.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it don't hurt to get back to that at any point. I got work in the trunk always.
Right. What do you think that what do you think is better? Social media is pretty big right now. It's
Mhm.
taken over influencers and all that stuff. I mean, it's been for years, but I remember, when I was in the music business and doing any type of marketing for anybody, it was all about flyers. It was always about FaceTime.
Mhm.
It was all about, driving around, walking around, handing
Yeah,
out stuff. Like, what do you think is a more impactful, um, what do you think works better?
in person. In person is
Yeah.
always gonna rule because there's a difference between me telling you about myself on the internet than you being in person with me. The in
Yeah.
person connection is unmatched. It's things that I can't say or I can't express in a 180 caption. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That in person will always rule. So, I prefer that, a lot of people support me just because of the type of person that I am. You know what I'm saying? That meeting, that connection that we have and make and relationship that we can build is far much stronger than, somebody following me and seeing my life within pictures on a screen.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that. I loved the guerrilla marketing era.
Yeah.
I don't think people do it enough anymore. Let's get back to let's continue talking about fashion here. What role do you play currently in fashion? Like, what are you working on? What have you accomplished since high school? Like currently right now, like what do you have going on? And what is it? Do you have a brand name? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my brand right now is Art by Seals. It's pretty broad because I paint shoes, I create merch, I paint murals, I do music, and that's just all up under that umbrella. At times I think, as of late, I'm thinking about branching off more into creating a actual fashion brand. You know, right now there's just been like mini collections that I create. I paint up different, upcycle some clothing. But I really feel like at some point I'm gonna get back into my bag that I was in when I left high school, because at that point I went to school to study fashion design. So I was thinking that I was gonna like make my own garments and, create from fabric and, sewing machine. But that in turn led me down this path that I'm on now, which is more adding my artistic flair to ready-made garments. But I really do feel at some point, whether it's a collaboration or whether it's just me, that is a goal of mine, is to create my own fashion brand.
So when you upcycle, where do you find your pieces to paint
Every
on? Everywhere.
everywhere. I thrift items, I buy items. Uh yeah, it just starts with my idea. Like if I have an idea, I go crazy on Google and I find what it is that I need to find.
Okay.
Or even if
That was going to be my next question. What is the creative process? You come up with the idea, then you go start shopping, and then so talk about that.
it's a little bit of both. So I'm always out shopping. So when I'm in stores, I see stuff and I'm like, man, this would look so much better if I did this to it, or if I could add this to it. So I just kind of wait for the garments to speak to me sometimes. And I may be inspired by something that I see and I say, okay, how can I make my own version of this? So I go search and source different materials and garments, and I do it that way. But it's no one way that I just for my creative process, but those are just different avenues.
And so you worked with Dapper Dan, right?
Yeah, so I had the pleasure of meeting him on a couple of occasions. When he came here to St. Louis, I gifted him a painting, and I wanted to extend that relationship past that painting. So instead of giving it to him right then and there, I told him, "Hey, I can drop this off to you," and in New York. And I don't think he thought that I was going to actually bring it to him, but I was in contact with his son, and we set up, the actual drop off. So that
Yeah.
led me to being able to visit his atelier in Harlem and just getting a closer connection with him, having him see my artwork in person again. So it was more like a one-on-one type of thing. But Dan is a legend. I mean, we all
Yeah.
admire his work, and it's amazing to see the things that he's still able to accomplish after all the adversity that he's been through. He's still pushing forward and making cutting edge work. You know what I'm saying? So, shouts out to Dapper Dan.
Yeah. Is there anyone else that I haven't mentioned that you've worked with?
I've worked with a lot of athletes.
Yeah.
Just recently, I've been working with Tershawn Wharton. He's a football player for the Kansas City Chiefs. So we've been working on custom cleats with him. And it's always dope to work with folks who are from St. Louis, you know what I'm saying? Because we share, similar backgrounds. So he understands what it is that I'm doing, where I come from. So, the style and the creativity is just real parallel. Like we got some of the same similar ideas. So I just wrapped up a pair of cleats for him that'll be on the field within the next week or so.
Oh, very cool. So how do you get your clients, and how does let's talk about the business side of things. Like you're creative. The majority of everyone that's on this podcast is creative. how do you balance the business side of things and your creativity at the same time?
hmm Well, luckily for me, I've always loved doing business. You
Mhm.
know, before I was 100% creative, I was always just trying to do business, make some money
Mhm.
some way, somehow, whether it was like selling candy at school or, I
Yeah.
was always just business minded structurally. Like, how can I build something larger than me and have it work for me? So when I learned how to paint, I looked at that as a tool, to be the foundation of my business. So, I don't mind being able to pick up my computer and get some emails in and, make some proposals, whether we're reaching out to people, whether we're um, scheduling anything. I mean, I
Mhm.
have fun doing that. So just as much fun as when I'm creating, but there do come a point where it's like, all right, I need to close this laptop and I need to pick up that paintbrush.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the energy inside of me that I'm able to harness and dedicate time to just be on the laptop or when I need to pick up that paintbrush and get moving. So and I also have help too. So I got a good team that helps, whether it's ideas or we should work with X, Y, and Z, and we figure it out and make it happen.
Oh, cool. So you have a team. That's important,
Absolutely.
right? And how long have you had a team? When did you decide you needed a team?
Well, my team has just been like family. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I got my bro, Nick Coulter. He's a photographer, PR. So he's been with me since I picked up the paintbrush. We've
Yeah.
always worked well as a team, and that in a sense has helped us, propel further. We just figuring out, okay, what needs to be done, we get it done. At a point in time we used to look and search for different people to do these things for us. But when we realize like, hey, you can do whatever it is you need to do, that's when it clicks. That's when it's like, okay, we picking up multiple hats. I'm gonna do this and that and that. And as business grew, as time kind of confided us to be able to do everything, that's when I reached out. It's like, okay, we need more people on this team. So, my cousin Taylor Miller, she's come on board. But we just get like-minded people to come on board and just be open and humble to say, okay, I'll do this or I'll do that. We need this done. I'll do that. It's figuring out what needs to be done and then making it happen.
Nice. That's great. What advice would you give, the younger generation that are trying to get into the fashion and art um, scene? Um,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them? What are the challenges that they're going to face, and how do they overcome all that?
I would say find what it is that you love to do, not something that's trendy. Find
Mhm.
something that you genuinely love to do, that you'll do it every day, whether you've seen $1 from it or not. Start there and then move forward. Like, don't chase the money because the money will just leave you um just kind of lost in the sauce. You don't want to be out here chasing money. If you're doing the right thing, the money gonna come. As far as adversity, you gonna face lack of support. You're gonna feel like it's certain people that's supposed to be helping you or they're supposed to be supporting you and they not gonna be supporting you. So, but that don't mean you should shut them off or that you should feel a bad way towards them. I mean, just don't take that personal. If you find it's something that you love to do, you're gonna do it regardless you getting the support or not. So that's really key is finding what you love and being relentless. Like work on that thing every day. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Ask questions, be an assistant, not a mentor, but what is it like when you wanna like work for somebody for free? Like what do they call it?
Being like an intern or
Be an
apprentice.
intern, an
Yeah.
apprentice. Yeah, reach out
Mhm.
to people that are in that field that that you want to be in and see how can you add value to what they got going on. I seen something today and it was like leverage your talent to learn.
Mhm.
So basically seeing how can you help somebody so that you can learn the game. I did that when I first started painting shoes. There was a guy named Lawrence, and his brand was Sneaker Kings. So I interned for him. I learned how to paint shoes properly, and in turn I was able to learn the game to where I can paint my own shoes and I can do, what it is that I need to do with shoes. But that type of experience can only come sometimes from the help of somebody who's been doing it. You learn faster.
All right. You're pretty inspirational. Are you mentoring anybody right now, or do you take on interns and apprentices?
Yeah, all the time. I've had different apprentices, different interns, whether it's been short term. I'm always open to give out some game, and I always got a lot of work to be done. I say that, but I'm still like the workhorse. Like I still be going in so crazy, like doing majority of the work. So it'd be kind of hard for me to have interns because I'd be like, man, I ain't got nothing for you to do right now, but I can definitely give you the game and be a resource. You know what I'm saying? More importantly, I'm always an open book.
Yeah, it's hard. I find that tough sometimes too, having help, which is good, but you don't sometimes know how to get away from what you're doing and help delegate and have them do it.
The work still got to get done, so you better delegate.
So what's next for you? Like, what's the next step for you in the fashion side of things?
Shoes. Yeah.
Okay.
Shoes.
That's all right.
My shoe.
Your shoe. Okay.
Yeah, my shoe.
Okay. What do you have a timeline on that? Can you talk about it? Is that something that's just kind of secret? We can't talk about it.
Yeah, I can't talk too much about it.
Okay, we can talk about it. Okay.
But I haven't even like put that out there unless to like people that I know and stuff like that. So you kind of get like exclusive, like
nice.
That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's been in the works for a minute now, but it's being worked on. But
yeah, that's cool. I've heard nothing but great things about you, so I'm assuming these shoes are going to be pretty impressive.
Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah. Blessed to be in a position that I am and to be able to have the resources and mentors to be able to attack something like that, because that's been childhood dream. I was in class drawing Air Forces and drawing Jordans in my notebook and always sketching them. So to be at a point where I can do my own thing, that's like top of the bucket list for me.
So you see yourself transitioning from clothing just to shoes, or just both, complementing each other? Both. Okay.
Both. Yeah. One day I'm gonna get tired of drawing shoes and I'm gonna say, man, where the rest of the fit at? How whole fit look. So I'm forever working on everything.
Okay, cool. All right, I got two questions for you that are not art or fashion related. It's more about St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
What is your what's me think? These come up the top of my head, by the way.
Yeah.
Where's your favorite place to eat in St. Louis?
Favorite place to eat? I'm gonna tell you what I'm about to eat in a couple of minutes. I'm about to go to Oriental Chop Suey, and I'm gonna get plain St. Paul, 4-piece crab ragoon, and I'm gonna get some fried rice with chicken in it and bean sprouts, eggs, and onions. That's what I'm about to get right now.
Yeah, that's St. Louis. That's perfect.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm about to get.
You're a good representative of St. Louis. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next question is, what is your most inspirational part of St. Louis?
North City.
Is there an area that inspires you the most?
Yeah. North City, St. Louis. And that's from Natural Bridge to Grand to Jefferson, just that whole area. I've seen those buildings countless times. I've driven down those streets countless times, seeing Fairground Park, seeing buildings. They don't make buildings like that no more. They don't make houses of that magnitude anymore with the detail. I had some of my fondest memories being at the Mayday Parade, or driving down Natural Bridge and seeing the lights from all of the fast food restaurants.
Yeah.
Those things just help shape me and help me appreciate the city. So it's weird. I don't know why that it's inspiring to me, but when I drive down the street, I just feel some type of energy, that it just drives my creativity and makes me feel the most safe and alive. You know what I'm saying? Like that's I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm a Pisces, but I'm super optimistic and I always see the beauty in things. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might drive over there and be like, man, what the hell? What is going on? Like there's abandoned buildings, there's empty lots. But I just see potential. I see what may have used to be there. You know what I'm saying? I see my people when I'm around there, and
Right.
that in turn inspires me. You know what I'm saying? And it gives me a purpose to just keep creating because there are people that are here, there are people that were here before me. You know what I'm saying? And this is my time that I'm in. So get to it.
Right. That's great. So can you tell us, so do you have a gallery? But how do people find you? How do they get your clothes? All your social media. Can you give us all the lowdown on how to
Yeah. So
connect with you?
brockseals.com. I'm on Instagram a lot. Seals Brock. Feel free to DM me, email me if you can get my email. Reach out to me. I'm an open book. Whether you want to ask a question or you want to get some shoes painted or you want to get a commission done, you got a mural, you got a wall in your house you want done. Hit me up with any project, any ideas. I love doing things that I haven't done before. I love doing things that I do every day. So if you got any idea, feel free to reach out to me and let's make it happen.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Brock, for joining us today.
Appreciate
And thanks.
talk.
Yeah, this has been great. It's been a great talk. Because I don't think we've ever really talked. I think
Yeah, we
we've met
see
a
that
couple
in
times.
passing. Yeah, but
Yeah,
we've been able to sit back and just,
yeah.
chat.
We have
But
to we have to connect outside of this too and talk a little
yeah, for
bit
sure. Cause
on some
I gotta get
passion
your
projects.
take on things. I gotta get your story.
Yeah. That'll be fun. Let's do that. Well, thank you everyone for watching and listening. Please like, share, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you again next time. Thanks again, Brock, for joining us.
Yay!